Man, today I'm really excited to be sitting down with Mr. Gilbert Chavez here, creator of Streelow magazine, which is the magazine that I grew up on.
Right on. That's
what's up. So that was the first. Yeah. That was my Lowrider magazine.
Oh, that's what's up. Hell yeah.
My dad got me one of the early issues.
Right.
Really blew my mind in terms of seeing out of San Jose, right? Like
correct.
The writing was all up and down California.
For sure.
So from your previous interview, I heard that you're not originally from San Jose. So what was your origin story like?
I'm not originally from San Jose. I'm from Mountain View.
Okay.
I was born in Mountain View. My parents met in San Jose, this place called Starlight, which was later on called Studio 47. So my dad lived in San Jose, my mother lived in Livermore at the time. And I guess when they got together, they wanted to live, I guess, near the farms and stuff, because Mountain View was a farm area, and we lived actually in some farms. And that's where I was born, Mountain View. And then from there, we moved to East Palo Alto, and from there we moved to Mexico. So I lived in Mexico, Jalpa, Zacatecas, for about two years of my life. And my father wanted to keep us there. And then after a while, he's like, nah, you guys are losing your English. You guys are, I'm going to take you guys back. So he ended up bringing us back. But we ended up in the border of Juarez and El Paso. And I seen all the lowriders. I seen all that. I had a cousin named Pepe Nacho, which is kind of crazy.
About what year was this then?
Man, I want to say 78, 79.
Okay, lowriders in El Paso.
Yeah, lowriders in El Paso. They were deep too, man. So my cousin had a El Camino that was like just all graphic, different colors. I mean, I'm still young. The El Camino was just like, wow. And I know it was El Camino because it was just a two-door and had the little truck. I thought it was a truck, but later on I knew it was El Camino. And then they had a shed, and he had all these magazines in there. And he gave me a bunch of magazines. He goes, here, take them. And there were Lowrider magazines. And I was like, yeah, but at the time still, I don't know anything about it. I'm still young, he's still growing up playing canicas and, all that other stuff. So my mom was like, no, you're not taking that with you. I'm going, okay. So I never got to take them with me, but I lived in the area, they called it the Lower Valley in Loma Land in El Paso. They called it the Lower Valley. And in that area, I mean, it was all Chicanos, man. To this day, it's all Chicanos there. You don't see, you see other races, but they're growing up with us, And there was a car wash in a corner where I lived. And then down the street where I lived, there was another guy that had like, I want to say it was a Regal at the time, or a Riviera. And it was like a candy blue, and it had these love seats in it with a chandelier. And this was back in the days. I'm like, at the time I was into sports, playing basketball, doing all kinds of stuff, but I always had to cross by that car. Mm-hmm. And I was just amazed. And the car would go up and down real slow, but, the guy had shaggy hair, kind of like the Prince from Chicano, Chico and the Man.
Yeah.
He kind of looked like that, but he was, that was his pride and joy. And everybody around the area had cars, old cars with hydraulics. And I was saying this is the early 70s. Late 70s. Mm-hmm. And then, after that, I just, we ended up coming back to California, and that was it, man. When I got back to California, all my primos were into it. They're into lowriding, man. One cousin of mine especially, he was, at the time, I had turned 13 when I got to California. He was about, he's 3 years older than me, so he's 16. He's driving around in a bomb, working on a 50 coupe, just working on cars, buying them from the junkyard, for $50, $100. And I was just amazed by it, man. I need that. I like that, And at 13, I bought my first car. It was a Volkswagen for $300. And then my parents didn't know I have it. I parked it around the corner because I had worked all summer to get the money. So we would take off to school. We're like, hey, Mom, Dad, we're leaving. It goes, so early? Well, she was trying to get to the car, turn it on and go to school. And it was, but, I ended up blowing the engine because I didn't know anything about cars, no oil, we ran out of. But then I bought my first 64 Impala, like about 2 years later for $100. No motor in it, but it was a super sport. Wow. And I had it parked in a carport because I lived in apartments at the time. I just sit in there and go, I'm going to cruise one day. I was just all into it, But then like a year later, I ended up buying a mini truck at 16. When I first got my driver's license, I bought a mini truck and cruised around San Jose. And I used to always come to San Jose. I have a lot of friends in San Jose, a lot of family here in San Jose, so I'd come out here a lot and cruise around out here all the time. And after that, I was kind of like, I would take off back to from East Palo Alto to San Mateo. Mm-hmm. So I lived in San Mateo, because there's people out there that talk shit. Oh, this guy's from San Mateo, but I'm not from San Mateo.
Yeah.
I just went to school in San Mateo. I went to school to Carmont High School.
Okay.
I went to school in a lot of different areas. Never San Jose, but San Jose was always my stomping grounds to drive around in and hang out, party, and have fun, and hang out with a lot of friends. And because I was 16 at the time, I had a mini truck. I mean, anybody at 16 with a car, what do you think they're going to do?
Yeah.
Drive around all over the Bay Area. Yeah. So I had friends everywhere. Union City, South City, Oakland. So we drove around everywhere. And I used to cruise everywhere. So cruising to me was like, I loved it, man. I cruised Castro Valley, Oakland, San Francisco, Sunnyvale, San Mateo, San Jose, Salinas. I mean, Fresno.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to all these cruise spots in my young years. And we used to go out there for what? Pick up on girls, man. That was the thing, you know.
The mini truck?
Yeah, the mini truck, you know. So
everywhere.
Yeah, 'cause it was a brand new car. And then after that, I ended up buying a 62 Impala. I bought it when I was 17. I started working on it. And then I was going to Kenyatta College. Going to college in one year. I'm driving down this neighborhood and there's a 50 coupe. Mm-hmm. Beautiful car just sitting there. Stopped by, picked it up. I stopped by to knock on the door and the guy goes, "You want it? It's yours, $500. I'm going, oh shit, it had a sign on there for $1,700. He goes, "You want it? It's $500. This older white guy. I'm like, hell yeah. So I came back 2 days later, picked it up, and it was history. I still have that car to this day. It's a 1950 coupe. I was in the Duke's Car Club. It's champagne gold. I know that's a black and white picture, but it's a champagne gold with a white top, you know. And after that, it was just, I was in the Duke's Car Club for about 13, 14 years. So, being around it a lot, going to like Lowrider shows at the time, you know, it was just, I loved it, man. I just loved seeing all that, you know. I take pictures everywhere I go. So I got a lot of old pictures of my younger years of cars and stuff. That picture there was taken in Ventura. So I drove all the way to Ventura for a bomb scares, they call it, you know, where all these bombs get together from the Dukes. Mm-hmm. And I guess they were having some kind of lowrider show out there. It was a lowrider magazine, but it was a lowrider show. And that day there was a guy and a girl, beautiful girl, man. And hey, man, can I take some pictures? We're from Lowrider Magazine. I've seen her in Lowrider Magazine too. And I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah. So we stood right there, and I took the picture, and he grabbed her and started taking pictures. And I'm like, oh, this is dope, man. But I wasn't still like, okay, I'm gonna start a magazine.
Right.
That wasn't my start. I go to a lot of car swap meets. That's what I did do. I go into a lot of car swap meets. I went to one in Turlock years ago, and that's where I found a lot of these Lowrider magazines, the very first ones. Mm-hmm. Because at the time, I'm buying, during my lowrider years, I'm cruising around and still being a fan of the magazine and the movement. I'd buy Lowrider Magazine, Orleans, Street Customs. Those were like, you know, the three magazines I always bought. It wasn't like I'm just going to buy Lowrider because that's it. Mm-hmm. No, I like Street Customs. They had a nice book. Orleans, I felt it more street. I felt like it was more attached to our streets. Mm-hmm. Lowrider at the time, it was more like, okay, they're commercial, but it's commercial. It's showing us in a bigger platform, which I liked. Street Custom to me was a good magazine. They had good photography and great graphic designers because they covered up a lot of stuff, and it just made the book look like wow. Like they took their time to buff the diamond. You know, like when you have a diamond, it's rough. They buffed it and made it look nice. That's why the books, if you look at them, the girls are like wow. The cars are nice. Yeah. Those are the three magazines I looked at. So when I saw that those old magazines, the old Lowrider magazines, I was like, whoa, that grabbed me, man. That it just took me to another view of what to me lowriding should be, you know. And it wasn't that it should be the way it should be recorded, because it was being recorded on the favor of Lowrider magazine. Lowrider magazine wouldn't put you in there unless you're spending money at their shows, or you're putting money into their car and still putting money into their shows. So basically, you support me, we'll support you, which is, you know, okay, that's cool. Mm-hmm. But what happened to the streets? Right. Because the streets do support you. Mm-hmm. You know, what happened to going to schools or going to picnics and gatherings? It was no more. You would see it once in a blue moon, but it wasn't there. Mm-hmm. And when I see the old Lowrider magazines, I was like, man, this is like a yearbook. Yeah. You know, you're sitting there, you're looking at people going, oh shit, I know this guy. You know, he's older now, but I know this guy, that, you know. So that's kind of like what kind of triggered me to say, you know what, we need to start something new here. in Northern California. Like, and this is in 1996, going to 97. That's when it happened.
So who were you kind of throwing these ideas around? Because I really want to get into this because
the idea. You mean for the magazine?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really in the ideas. I was sharing it with like different people. Really, it wasn't because who knows? I wasn't a publisher. I wasn't in school for any of that. Excuse me. And then so I sat there. I'm like, I need to start this. I need to start something. But it still wasn't to that point. I was looking at these books, and where I was working at, I was working in Milpitas at this where they make hard drives, and my GM, because I was a 3-shift manager there. At a young age, I was a 3-shift manager. It was kind of cool, and I used to go to, car events, and I used to show them all my pictures because I was taking pictures of everything. And he's like, man, he goes, and then I showed him the old Lowrider magazine. And I showed him the new Lowrider magazine. He's like. And he even said, this is an older white guy, he looks at it and goes, this magazine's dope, the old Lowrider magazine. This has more heart than this one does. Like, you could tell this one has soul, this one's just commercial. I said, right, that's exactly in my head. That's exactly the way I look at it. So he goes, why don't you start a magazine? I said, start a magazine? I can't start a magazine. I go, and that's when computers started coming in. Okay. So we were barely doing the chat shit on the computer. Yeah. He goes, no, you should go in there and figure out how to publish. He goes, I'm gonna tell you a story. There's an older white guy. He goes, I had a friend of mine back in the days that started a magazine called Hot Rod. I go, yeah, fuck, everybody knows Hot Rod. He goes, well, a friend of mine started it. And it started blowing up. It got so big, he sold it to a big publication. And they gave him millions of dollars for him. Now he's retired and the magazine's somewhere else and it's still going on. He goes, but you should start one. He goes, you trust me. He goes, these pictures you got are, I'd rather see your pictures than look at this magazine, which is the new Lowrider magazine. I go, really? So then that kind of inspired me to push it to go further. So then I started looking into magazines, and at the time, the websites were kind of funky. It's 97. Yeah. So I got in there, started doing Googling and I don't know if it was Google, I forgot what it was, but a search engine, I did a search engine and this magazine called Razateca came out. Yeah. So Razateca, I go, it's a Razateca publication. So I figured, okay, it's a publication. Still, my lingo for magazines and all that, I didn't know. So I said, publication, maybe they can print our magazine for us. That'd be dope. So I went out there, checked it out, and right away I sat there and we were talking. One of his graphic designers is on the other side of the wall. They had dividers, right? And he's listening to us. So the guy goes, well, I go, how much would you charge me? And I have a mock-up. I still got the mock-up of the magazine. I go, this is the way I want it. And I brought an old Lowrider magazine. I think it was issue number 2. I go, this is kind of like, I'm trying to do this, but with the new. I want new because I want to create a magazine that our people can relate to. Down the line, they're gonna go back to the magazine and say, "Shit, look at me when I was like 4 years old. Look, I'm with my dad." Memories. I want to create a memory. I want to create a history book. So the guy goes, "Oh yeah, we could do it. You're looking at about $2 a book." I thought, okay, well, what do we need to do? Well, we need to put it together. Then bring it to me, and then I'll have it published for you. I said, okay. So we took off, and for some reason, the guy around on the other side of the cubicle had our number, calls us the following day. He goes, hey, do you have anybody putting the book together for you? I go, no. He goes, I'll do it for you. I was like, really? I go, how much you charge me? He goes, we'll go talk. So we went and picked him up in one of our cars. We had a 53 Chevy and we had a 50, we had old cars. We picked him up and he's on the car going, wow, this is dope. And then he goes, I'll put the whole book together for you for $600. $600. I go, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. So I pay way more for that now. But and I think it's Morgan Rosales, and still today we're good friends. From there on, we started putting this book together. I called a friend of mine. I told him, hey, man, I need somebody to help me out with the funding. I don't have a job anymore. I ended up quitting my job. I have such money in my bank account, which I could probably do it on my own, but I didn't want to take that money risk by myself. I had just got married too, so he's like, yeah, let's do it. But he helped me out with it. So he's one of the founders. I call him a founder and stuff, but I'm the one that actually created it. So there's a difference. I tell a lot of people, founders are like Malo's one of the founders too, because he was one of my first designers, as well as Morgan. Morgan was another first designer of mine. But from there on, we just started putting this book together. I mean, I was going out there taking pictures. People were writing articles for us for free. our spelling and shit was all fucked up. It just wasn't all that. I mean, people were like, oh shit, that's Streelow. We know, because they can't spell for shit. There is not THEIR. There, like it was kind of crazy shit. But we learned as we went on, and we try to hire, like, get more people that knew how to write and stuff. But still, to that time, during that time, we wanted to make sure that anybody that was contributing to the magazine was an actual lowrider, like people that were in the hood, people that were actually doing things, And it's funny because I just talked to this lady that worked for Garden magazine, and she tripped out on our magazine. She's looking at it and goes, "Who published this for you?" I go, "Well, I'm the one. I'm the publisher. I'm the editor too." I went through pictures, looking at them and scanning them, and then give them to the designer. They designed it. I looked at it. If I didn't like it, they didn't give the writing. We did the articles. I wrote some of my stuff. And she goes, "Oh my gosh!" She goes, "In Garden, we have like nothing but writers. Here's the designers. There's the guys that do this and that. It's like a huge team. It's cost a lot of money to put a magazine together." I go, "No, I understand, but I just did it on my own, man. We did a lot of it on our own, and we made sure that, like I said, anybody that was dealing with us was about it, When Lowrider sold in 1990, so they sold in 1998 when that's when we started the magazine. So during this time, we're putting everything together. In 97, 98, it's already, in 97, we're busting it out. 98 of August was the very first issue we pushed out. So we kept pushing and pushing. And what the trippy thing about it was that when Lowrider sold, I said, fuck, they sold our soul, man. These guys sold our, like, I was really, like pissed at Lowrider magazine for selling the magazine. I was pissed at, some of my magazines, I'll talk dirt, because I was young still. I was a little young punk. I didn't give a shit, I stood up for what I wanted to, Some people disagreed, but on the real, when I build a car, I build it for myself. I don't build it to compete. I build it because I like, at the time when you're young, you want girls to jump in your car. You're trying to pick up on girls. You're trying to have fun with your friends. It is an art, but it's a lifestyle. So, other people take it different. So, like I said, we were young, coming out with the book, throwing things at Lowrider, because to me, Lowrider wasn't it no more. But you had the old school people going, "Oh, no, Lowrider, that's it. That, they're the Bible." But it's not. Not when it changes hands, man. They have to understand that when it changes from one hand to another, to another, to another, that's it, man. It's a washed out. It's like grabbing a soda, putting water in it, and then handing it out to the next person. They put water in it. Then the other guy gets a soda, put more water in it. Yeah. By that time, it's not Coke anymore. Right. It's all watered out. And that's what we thought Lowrider magazine was headed. And it did. It headed that way. And they couldn't keep up with us as far as street. We're all over the street. They're hiring some of our photographers. They're trying to hire some of my writers, which is a trip. At the time, like I said, I looked up to a lot of these guys, but they started talking dirt on us because they saw us coming up. And I think they couldn't stand, like, wait a minute, these kids, because we were kids. And everywhere we went, they were like, "Hey, can you get permission to your dad so we can do a photo shoot on my car?" I'm like, "My dad?" Like, what the fuck? I go, "I'm the owner. What are you talking about?" They're like, "What? Nah, you can't be the owner." I'm like, "Yeah." I was 25 years old. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the owner, man." "Nah, hell no." I go, "Okay." So it was a trip. They always thought that it was ran by somebody older than us. It just made it that easy, I guess. And the more momentum we got, and the more acceptance we got, I mean, we're coming out of Northern California. I wanted to make sure the magazine was in San Jose, because to me, it was very important that it was recognized. Because if I would have came out of, let's say, at the time when I first started the magazine, I was living in Belmont. I lived there for 1 year when I started the magazine. San Jose has been kind of like the, excuse me, it's been like the, kind of like somebody said, it was the capital of lowriding. And he didn't mean it by the cars, he meant it by the organization. Like, it was organized here. Like Sacramento is the capital of California. Why? There's like, it shouldn't be LA, right? Because LA is so huge, it should be the capital. But you can't, you can't have it the capital, because you have to have an area where it's kind of like it's not too crazy. It has to be an area that could think for the crazy places. Like, LA's crazy. It's like, to me, it's the Mecca of lowriding. Right. It's not the capital, but it's the Mecca. Where that's where, you get a lot of style comes out of there. But that style also comes from all the hoods throughout California. you know. But to me, it was more settled here because we weren't doing too much. I felt it was dying at the time, 97, 98. I felt lowriding, if we don't step it up and show that Northern California also has juice, and not even Northern California, I'm talking about like Sacramento, Fresno, Stockton, Salinas, little areas, because they're being forgotten. And the only way these areas are being brought up, it's only if Lowrider magazine came to do a car show here. So if you go back into their history, you could tell, okay, they're coming to San Jose. Boom, that issue that comes out next, it's all about San Jose. Mm-hmm. And then boom, it disappears. Then their next stop's Texas, which to me, I mean, it was the way they laid out their plan. But then after that, you wouldn't see nothing from California no more, or you wouldn't see nothing from Northern California. And at the time, I felt like, okay, and we jumped in it when Lowrider sold. So Lowrider sold its magazine in '98, and we came out in '98. Mm-hmm. So it was like, I don't know if it was meant to be, or a perfect storm, or because I didn't plan it. It wasn't a plan. I was coming out with the magazine regardless. I didn't know they were being sold.
That's crazy.
So as soon as that magazine got sold, boom, we come out, and people are mad because it's sold to a corporation, and and it was just a trip, man. And that's what, okay, well, we're gonna ride the wave too. Yeah. Now we could sit here and talk shit to these guys that are golfers. They're not lowriders. Right. These guys are golfers, man. You're gonna see them at a golf course. You're not gonna see them on the boulevard. Mm-hmm. You're gonna see us on the boulevard. You're gonna see the publisher, my photographers, my designers, the people that actually put this book together. You're gonna see them on the boulevard and riding cars, mm-hmm. breaking down, because let's say our cars weren't all that at the time. But you see, for me, it was like a slap in our face. And I even told I was always telling people, I'm gonna start a golfing magazine and roll up in a fucking golf cart with fucking three-wheeling it, and just fucking bring out sticks and just start pretending I'm hitting something, and start a magazine and see if they follow it, Mm-hmm. And I know they wouldn't, right. Or if I would let's say they would sell a golf magazine or a surfer magazine, I would buy it. I guarantee you they would stop buying it. Mm-hmm. Oh shit, a Mexican bought it. What do you know about golfing? Oh, what do they know about, right. Unless I'm actually a star on that. Right. So that's how I felt. I felt like, wow, they just bought our culture. Mm-hmm. I guess our culture had a price. And I was kind of mad at Albert Lopez at the time, and until I met him in Santa Rosa one year, and he came up to me and he's like, wow, he goes, you came up, and I was like about 3 years into it, and still our magazine looked like it wasn't all that mm-hmm. at the time. And he goes, you guys that came up, he goes, I see your guys' sales, because he was part owner of the distribution company I was in.
Oh, okay.
So they picked it up because he was part owner. And when I walked in there with the first issue, and our first issue, just you'd laugh at it if you've seen it, but they picked it up. They ordered like 20,000 of them. So I walked in. He came up. He goes, you are the next generation, believe it or not. He goes, and my brother's trying to start a magazine, which they ended up starting this magazine. Mm-hmm. And I had talked to him. I talked to him in San Fernando Valley about that, but. He had told me, oh, you're the next up. He goes, do what you're doing, man. He goes, there's no stopping. What you do, there's no stopping. Just keep pushing what you believe in. He goes, you have a lot of energy. You're young. He goes, you're going to know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. And so I did. I started that. I mean, from that on, that was like a word of his kind of advice, right? But at the time, I still wanted to meet Sonny. I didn't know Sonny at the time still. Mm-hmm. And everywhere I went to culture events. And every time I was at a culture event, they're like, oh, Sonny was just here. I go, fuck, where? And I put a booth up and, no, where? I mean, Sonny goes, yeah, you walk through here. And I was like, wow, man, I'd like to meet him one day. And I kept talking, well, if you ever see him, send him to my office, Mm-hmm. And one day he walks into my office, man.
Just like that?
Just like that. He goes, hey, Streelow magazine? I go, yeah. He comes in, he's like, wow, man. He goes, I like what you're doing. I go, right on. He goes, it reminds me of me. They started looking at it, and after that, he's like, I could write some articles for you if you want. I go, really? He goes, yeah, I'll write some articles. He goes, I got so many stories, man. He goes, I'll give you pictures. I got this, I got that. So we wrote one about the first LA Super Show. We wrote one about the Olive Rock, where they had some problems with bikers. Mm-hmm. At the time, he said there was I don't want to say their names, because they're a big biker gang now. But they had problems with them, but they ended up, all the young kids, the Chicanos that were lowriding, they beat the shit out of them, It was all over the newspaper. And he just wrote all these cool-ass stories in our magazine, man. And there's some issues that I have. Like I said, that has his actual writing in it. And after that, he just started hanging out with us more and more and more. And then I said, man, they need to know who you are. He goes, yeah. He goes, I really don't care about the fame. I go, no, but it's not the fame, man. You should be in a mansion right now, chilling. I go, you don't know this whole thing has what has happened here. You started something that's just worldwide, and I give him the credit for creating it, and I give Albert Lopez too. I give him credit for taking it to another level. So, but yeah, after that, I started hanging out with Sonny, man. After that day, and it's it was like he was showing me and telling me all kinds of stuff, and all kinds of stuff that happened to him started happening to me, where I had a lot of writers and I had a lot of photographers and had people that actually helped me out a lot. And I appreciate what they did for me, but then they try to take from me too. Mm-hmm. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? I would leave, like, from Monday to Friday, I was at the office. On the weekends, I'm gone. I'm at an event or doing something. And some of these guys, I don't even want to mention their names, but they would come into my office and start wanting to create their own magazine.
Oh, really?
Right. I'm going,
with your materials?
With my material, and then they would call up all my advertisers. Oh, we're going to give you the first 2 issues for free if you stop advertising with Streelow. We're like, what the fuck? So I ended up closing my doors one day, and we ended up in Ventura. We were going to Ventura, me and Sonny Madrid and Pauly Cardenas, which is my writer. Yeah. So we ended up taking off to Ventura, and I'm fucking just pissed, man. I'm like, how the fuck? I give these guys everything. I give them everything, man. And they get they're getting their how can I say their momentum from us, but to instead of coming up to you and going, hey, I want to start our own. Is it cool? Can you mentor us? It's going to be a little different. Don't do something identical to me. So we went from there, and we closed the door, and I'm driving, and Sonny's telling me, Gilbert, don't worry about it, bro. That's when the whole bean thing came out, right? Mm-hmm. That's what he goes, you're like the frijoles de la olla, bro. He goes, when you first bake those beans, that's when you get the nutrition out of it. That's when you get the real. He goes, those guys are refried beans. Lowrider magazine is a refried bean. He goes, imagine that. He goes, when you sit down, you want that burrito, you want to taste the bean. You don't want to taste oil, because when you're refried now, you're tasting the oil. It's not the real bean. He's all, you're the real bean. He goes, that happened to me years ago. He goes, when I started Lowrider magazine, he goes, a couple magazines came out of it. Teen Angel came out of it. Mm-hmm. Yuval came out of it. Oh, Firme came out of it. Yeah,
they were part of Lowrider at one point. Or?
Yeah. So there's I want to remember his name, Garcia or David something. Mm-hmm. I'm not, or David Hernandez. I'm not too sure. If you look at older Lowrider magazines, like in the '90s, because even still to the 2000s, he was their cultural writer. He wrote for their culture, like Chicano stuff. He was doing the writing for them. Because he called me one time, and I started talking to him, and he was amazed at what we were doing. And so Sonny never told me about him, but he told me about it. But Sonny had told me that these were the magazines that came out of Lowrider. He goes, but guess what happened? Because Lowrider was the whole bean, all these refried beans just kept, they fade out. Yeah, they fade out. They all faded out. But the reason why Cuval and Firme faded out was it was the same publisher for both magazines. So I want to say, I don't know if it was Cuval or Firme that came out first, but I see Firme came out first. So when Firme came out, he put it out. This guy David put it out, and but he gets people to fund it, but he's getting the wrong people to fund it. Mm. You get a person that gives you $50,000 or $100,000. Yeah, I want my money back. Like, when can you get my money back? Oh, don't worry, Lowrider's making so much money. But you have to understand, Lowrider's already established. Right. They're making money. Right. You as a new business or a publishing company, you have to understand you're not going to make that money. It's going to take you the minimal, if you want to make money off publishing, you're looking at minimal 5 years to 10 years. But you got to be consistent of what you're doing. Mm-hmm. When Daniel did, he did the magazine, and he had people that actually help him fund it, but it was, like I said, it's the wrong people that you wanted that are funding you. So he told me that when he started the magazine, he had an office. They give him such amount, hundreds of thousands of dollars to put the book together. He was able to put a couple books together. Excuse me. And then after a while, they're like, "Well, where's our money, bro?" The fuck, there was no money. Yeah. You print 1,000. Let's say I'm going to go to a low. You print 1,000 magazines. You're probably going to sell 200 or 300 of those 1,000 magazines. Mm-hmm. you're not gonna. Where's the rest of the money? And then, well, that money's gonna go to print the next issue. Right. So I need more money to print. Then you print out the next issue. Probably by the time you're in your 5th issue, people are starting to, okay, this is cool. Okay, now I'll get it. But now you're stuck with issue 1, 2, 3, 4, and piles of where you need to ship, where you have to have it stored. It's costing you money to store it. So he said that they went up to the office in gunpoint and pulled him out of the office. And that was it. Damn. You're done, bro. He goes, if you don't give us our money a certain time, you're out of here. They kicked him out of the office. He goes, they fucking muscled me out. He goes, I couldn't go back. They made me sign papers. So he let that go. Then like a year later, he goes, I still have, they had a fire burning in me. So then he started Cuval. Another man, same shit happened to him. He got booted out again. But then Cuval, I think, continued. Fierman never did, but Cuval did. Cuval, because I saw Cuval like in the 90s at one time. Okay. So I don't know if it was him doing it. I forgot to ask him, but I know he was booted out of that magazine again. So, you know, the ideas are good, but anybody that wants to invest, it's not. Unless you got money to throw away. And I tell people, you want to start a magazine? That's good. And I hope you do it. But there's right ways and there's wrong ways. Don't think you're going to come in and you have this idea, because the idea, everybody knows the idea. Not original. There's no original idea. Yeah. Names, if you're going to think about a name, think of an original name. That's why when I started Streelow, it's original name. There's no, I didn't want a name that was already in the industry. Yeah. I wanted to throw a name into the industry.
So did you come up with that yourself?
I did come up with it. No, I can't. Well, the first name of it was called Calle Bajita.
Okay.
That was my name. But then I sat there, I said, wait a minute. If I do Calle Bajita, how am I going to get across into the American side? Because now you got, you got blacks, you got white people, you got Asian people, you got Mexican people who don't speak Spanish. So, you know, and there you got that whole, what is Calle Bajita? You know, like, what the hell? That sounds like a fajita, you know? So I was like, wait a minute, I got to make it different. So I go Streetlow. Or Low Street, but Low Street don't sound Streetlow. So I put that together. That was my name. I created that name. That's why I wanted to do something different. Even though the car shows, if you look at all my car shows, I never use the word lowrider because I wanted them to identify Streetlow as a lowrider. But the sad thing about that is that I'd go out and get advertisers, right? I'm going to give you a good example of one. There was a Brentwood, California. There was a tire shop out there. They started advertising with me. They wanted to advertise. I went out there, showed them the magazine. They're like, okay, cool. I'm going to get work from all over Northern California. You're going to get calls. That was my very first rim ad in the magazine. Okay. So he started advertising, spending stupid money. He was an Indian guy. He had money. So he's spending money, and he started getting sales like crazy. Then he goes into Lowrider magazine, and their book, I'm charging them $1,000, I think, for 2 pages at the time. Lowrider's charging $2,500 a page. He's giving them $5,000 for 2 pages. I'm going, what? Then he goes, yeah, Gilbert, I want to stop advertising with you because, everybody that calls here, I tell them, where did they get it from? They say from a Lowrider magazine. What am I? I'm a Lowrider magazine. Yeah. That's the advantage that magazine had. They had our name because it wasn't their name. It's our name. That's why I didn't grow as fast, I guess. But I was growing, and the name kept growing.
I'm still here, too.
Right, and it's still here, and I kept pushing, and now I use it. I use Streelow Magazine Presents Lowrider Car Show and Concert, because we are a Lowrider magazine, and we are a Lowrider car show. So people are like, Lowrider Magazine's going to sue you, because it's not their name. Yeah. Lowrider is not a generic name. Lowrider is a generic name. It's not a trademark. Their logo is a trademark, but it's not their name. They can't sit there and we own it. You can't do that. I can do whatever I want. Yeah.
So what was the transition from you put out the magazine, then you had the first car show, right? So what was that process like?
So
why did that?
Okay, so I never wanted to do a car show. Okay. That wasn't my thing. My thing was just a magazine. I just wanted to grow as a magazine, and because as it is, it's hard enough to put a whole magazine together, and to keep trying to get the funds to put it together and go out there and push. So we're putting our first show together, and so we started pushing it, pumping it. Man, we had over 500 cars, man.
At Evergreen?
Evergreen. It got packed.
What year was this?
Shit. Okay. 2000. So we were like 2 years of publishing. Okay. So we weren't publishing yet. We're just started. And so when we put that show together, I didn't know anything about car shows. I didn't want to do it, to tell you the truth. And so when we put the show together, we're like, okay, we get there and we're like, holy shit, the cars just kept coming in. People kept coming. We're like, but we weren't running the gates. The only gate we were running was the car gate. So we ended up collecting, I'm going to tell you, like almost like 16, 17K just in cars, man. And we're like, and that's when we were charging like $30 the car. Right. So we're like, fuck, we got all this money. We're like, shit, we never had this kind of cash. You know, we have cash, but we're putting it. It's all paper. It's going
reinvested. Right?
Yeah, so it's not really going into the magazine at the time. And so we're like wondering what's at the gate. So the guy who was running the gate didn't want to tell us. Yeah. And he had hired at the time, I think I want to say JT from In Too Deep. Remember, back to the hotel. So they had him there, and I knew him from years back. And he goes, "Hey Gilbert, come here, I want to talk to you." I go, "What's up, man?" He goes, "That dude." He goes, "I told him he needed to pay me because if he wants me to go on stage, I need to get paid." I go, "Yeah, I understand." He goes, "But what I didn't like, he was pulling that out of his sock." I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Yeah, he pulled up his pants, pulled the money out of his socks. He had a big old stack." I said, "What?" I said, "Okay." So I called dude up. I said, "Hey man, we had a classroom that they gave us at Evergreen that we were little powwow." So I told him, "Why don't you come over here, man? I need to talk to you." He comes out. He goes, "I go, hey, check this out, man. Let's pull out the money that we made. We already closed the gate in the front." He goes, "Well, how much is it? How much you guys make?" I go, "Well, how much you make? How much money are you collecting? Because you got all these vendors. You're collecting the vendor money. You're collecting the booth money." He goes, "Oh, I'll be right back." I go, "No, what do you mean? Where you going?" I go, no, stand right here. No, I'll be right. He took off. He runs into the bathroom, and then he comes back. He hasn't come back still. And he just wouldn't come back. And I go, what the fuck? And I was just frustrated with that, bro. I was just like, you know what? I'm done. He was supposed to have judges for us. Everything. Nothing. I didn't know how to judge cars at the time. I mean, I could judge them, but I didn't have nothing to do with any of the judging. So it was already 3:30. We're like, bro, we need to, we have trophies with the judging, we got to announce the winners. And the judges he had gave up because they were just frustrated with the cars that came in. There were so many cars. Yeah, they were used to that. They're like, oh, we give up. By 11 o'clock, they gave up. And the cars were coming at 6. By 11, so we had 2-3 hours to figure out what was going on. And then I'll grab, and they started grabbing stuff and getting people, here, go judge this car, judge that car, judge this car. And we're like, what are you doing, man? These people don't even know how to judge. I don't care. We'll get some numbers together. And I said, oh, my God. And there was a big old fuss going on, too, because when we got to the awards, people were like, hey, what about the awards? And people just started talking shit and fuck Streelow. I go, oh, what? So I was pissed, man. And I told everybody, I go, look, here's our first show. I'm sorry. Something bad happened. And I was like, I told one of the guys from one of the clubs out of the East Bay, I said, I want to give them all their money back. I don't give a shit. I don't need this money. This is back karma to me. Yeah. The guy goes, no, you're crazy. You'll start a riot, man. Don't do that. This is going to get crazy. You start giving everybody their money back, there's going to be people lining up that don't even have a car.
At the show you wanted to give them the money back?
I just wanted to give them their money back, bro. I was just so, he goes, no. He got on the mic. He started talking. He was a car guy. Yeah. And he's like, hey, man, this is all we have. And this is the first magazine come out of Northern California, and you guys want to like shut it down like this. And it was a cool ass speech, which later on he became one of our staff members. His name was Bro. And it was cool, man. After that, everything was, we're just gonna give out trophies to everybody that participated. And we give out all the trophies. And after we calm all that down, dude comes out of the woodwork, hey, Gilbert, so what's up, man? So he goes, you got the money? I look at him, and he just got in my car, shut the door. I told my boy, get in the car. Fuck this dude. We took off. That was it. We took off with the money and everything. The next day, he's calling me, hey, bro, can I call you? Can I talk to you? I go, yeah, come on over. He came to my house, and we said some words and told him some stuff where he never came back. Yeah. And I said, you're not getting the money. I go, a matter of fact, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, So we decided, to put it back into the magazine, and we decided to do some little picnics here and there, which for we did one at Raza Park at the time. Yeah. We did one for Raza Park. So we started putting our money into different things like that. But it went back into the community, back into the cars. Yeah. So, that was that. But that's how we got into the car scene. So when we saw that coming in, we like, this could elevate our magazine if we do car shows. Mm-hmm. So, but it was still hard, man, because we were still losing money at some events. And then, you know, again, we had guys on our team. Oh, Gilbert, you got to do 7, 8 shows, bro. You'll make 3 times the money. And hell no. You do 7, 8 shows, you're gonna lose money. You might make money at 1 or 2 shows, but the rest of them, because you can't concentrate. You need to concentrate on what you're doing. You can't just sit there and say, I'm gonna do this show. It sounds like a good idea. Definitely a good idea to do events. But you gotta have years behind it. Everything needs years, man. If you look at shows that are very successful, they have annuals behind it. If you look at magazines that have strived, they have years behind them. Any new magazine, and like you said, you have a couple of them. Right. Like I have a couple of them, and they were like 2, 3. That was it. Yeah. Because it's not easy. You know, they got to think about their family. They're going to feed them, or they're going to continue to put that money that they could feed their family, pay their rent, and buy a car and put it into a magazine. And I did that for 25 years of my life, man. You know, when I even started the magazine, I thought to myself, I'm going to blow up. I used to take Lowrider magazine apart, pull all their ads. So once I calculate all their ads, and the magazine's making over $1 million, man. I'm tripping, we're going to be millionaires. No, it wasn't like that, man. Then I read an article about publishing. And it stated, you know, publishing isn't a get-rich scheme. You're not going to get rich. Publishing is something you have passion for. Mm-hmm. My passion is cars and lowriding. That was my passion. So it will pay off in the long run, but not right now, not in a couple of years. Sometimes it even pays off when you're dead, you know, but it doesn't pay off right now. You have to have passion for it.
So why do you think then that Streelow has persevered for so long then?
Passion. Love. I mean, it's in my heart. I mean, people tell me, oh man, lowriding, I haven't heard of it. It's kind of dying out. Not for me. Yeah. Shit, I live it every day, you know? But it's like, I can't stop. I've told people I'm tired. I'm getting really tired. I kind of really want to stop. I want to enjoy life. I want to travel. I want to be part of the shows, you know? I don't want to be the show. I want to be part of the shows now. But it's still like, people tell me, don't. If you do that, it's going to die. People don't understand that Streelow is a different monster, man. You know, we have haters. We have people that love us. We have people that hate us. But that's what helps who we are. Because if we didn't have haters, that means we're not doing something right. You know, because, you know, and then if we have people that just love us, that's cool. But, I mean, people love lowriding, you know. But, you know, people want to be that person. They want to be like, the highlight person. So they will talk down on somebody else, you know. Because I'll turn a hater to a liker again, man. Believe me. I mean, they might hate us, and once they know who I am and what we do, they're not gonna think about that. They're not gonna look at us that way ever again. Because it's, you know, it's about the thoughts of other people. That, you know, like, you know, you could sit around and say, hey, you know what? Don't go interview Gilbert. That guy's gonna bullshit you. You know, he's a liar. He's a this. But I mean, it's your thought. Right. Then you'll sit there like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that.
So looking back at 25 years, is there any articles or features that you had in your magazine that really you're just like, damn, that was dope?
Well,
or having Sonny, maybe?
Having Sonny, that's one of them. Having Dave Gonzalez, and having a lot of the old school guys that were in there. Even I'm gonna tell you, believe it or not, I mean, if he ever hears this, is what's his name? Oh my God, Larry Gonzalez. Yeah. He was one of the first ones to start car shows that helped. One of the founders, I call it as well, not the creator, but one of the founders that helped push the whole lowrider movement, as far as even, I want to say the car show movement. He was the king of it, you know, and now it's like, it's shifted again. Now people want to hear oldies. Mm-hmm. People want to see bandas. People want to, you know, it's a mixture of music that I think will bring us all together. But it's something that maybe that we bump in our decks, or our parents bump in their decks, you know, that we have to put together to bring everybody together, you know. And that's, I think, scares corporate, because corporate don't know what to do. So they'll go hire this guy that thinks they know, that he knows what he's doing. Just because he owns a lowrider doesn't mean he's 100% cultural. How can I say?
In tune,
culture in tune. Because there's a lot of lowriders out there that, you know, they're like, you look down on somebody rolling in a car with a Mexican flag. It's not about Mexico. It ain't. It's about our culture. Mm-hmm. Because lowriders started from us. us, not the cars, us. So remember, like I said before, if you look at that article, and that was one of the very first, that's in the 60s. Yeah. So those articles were written in the 60s. It explains what a lowrider is. That's why Sonny to me was like, nah, lowrider's an actual person. It ain't the car, it's the person. And when I sat there going, you're right. He goes, because look, if you're a lowrider, you can buy a Datsun, Honda, back in the days and lower it. Pintos, Camaros were being lowered. It wasn't sophisticated. I mean, it wasn't just all, specifically Impalas and bombs. You saw in the 70s, you saw, like I said, Pintos, you saw Corveras, you saw Regals, Cadillacs. These were cars that whoever had a car was doing that to. They're lowering it because lowering was the fashion of its time. Like everybody wanted to lower their cars. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily the car; it was the person. And it's still I see people, even older guys, that run around little minivans. Yeah. Do all kinds of stuff to it. They're lowered and shit. I'm going, wow. And it's their family car. It's not but they grew up lowriding. That's what they like. That's what they're gonna do. So. That's why I say, it is the person. And that's where I think Lowrider got scared. They went to 2-3 different publishers thinking that they were going to change the way, but I don't think they changed anything. I think we changed everything because lowriding is us. Yeah. Not the magazine, just us, the people. So that's why I feel like, you got to go with the waves. Mm-hmm. But you're not, if you're not in tune with who you are and what you listen to at home, you're not. Like right now, Lowrider magazine don't exist. Right. And people think it does. Me, I kind of miss the picnics and gatherings, the annuals. Mm-hmm. There are no more. So when I started the magazine, that's what it was for. Like it was for the people. It was for the car clubs. So if you look at our first couple of issues, it's all Woodland Nights, Highland Park, right. Viejitos, gathering, mm-hmm. Irvine gathering. We had gatherings, and the gatherings were just people gathering at parks, or you're celebrating your 3rd, 4th, 5th annual of being a car club. Right. That's what the magazine was for. It wasn't about car shows. I didn't want it to be. They would get mad some clubs would get mad at us in different places because or different states because we weren't highlighting their car club. But then I would be like, well, wait a minute. You're doing a car show for everybody. We're highlighting everybody. If we highlight just you, it becomes kind of like everybody's not going to want to come to your show again. Right. We highlight you as you're the event coordinators, but we highlight the rest of the show, man. We made it look nice, and people would get mad. We're like, oh, fuck this. I'm not doing this no more. So it's kind of like, I really don't like doing car shows unless it's ours. Mm-hmm. That's it. We do our car shows. You support us, we're supporting you, but we're putting multiple pictures of people because to me, it's the people more than anything. I want to see families. I want to see, but that's, that was a turning point when we did the show. After that, it went from. And then another thing about the magazine, the way it looked. When I first met Sonny too, in the beginning, this was the magazine, right, with all the words on it, right. When I met Sonny was like, Gilbert, when you do a magazine, it's for him. And like I said, he was my mentor, so I'd like, okay, I'm listening to him. He's all, a picture speaks 1,000 words. He goes, when you do your covers, if you looked at my first covers, he goes, there was no words on it. If you look at his Lowrider map, there's no words on it. Because for him, it was like the word, a picture spoke 1,000 words. Mm-hmm. He goes, there's no need for you to cover it up with all this commercial stuff on it. I go, yeah, it's a good idea. So after that, all our magazines that came after that, no text. Yeah. You don't see it. Yeah. Text disappeared. And that was like I said, that's something that he left behind, You see, that's when he kept telling me, you're putting too much stuff on the thing. You're putting too much. And after that, I kind of toned it down. And if you look at our issues to date, they don't have no. Here, let me give you the newest issue. Where is that? This is the newest issue. See?
Oh, right.
Yeah, you don't. There's no words no more. That's it. But if you open it up, like you see the. Oh, should I have another one here? No, I don't. Open it up and look at the whole back. You see it? It's the car rolling right through the other side.
Right.
So the words are on the back now. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like how we start pushing it.
So what are some other lessons that Sonny kind of gave to you that kind of lasted?
Stuck in my head. Well, that was one of them. The cover one was for sure that stuck in my head. Another one was like, don't stress. He envied me. He told me, I envy you because your whole family works for you. You know, because my wife runs the front entrance. My wife, my daughter, my mother helped me out at the time. She can't right now because she's up there in age now. My kids help me with vending, and one of them runs the booth. So he tripped out. He's like, you know. He told me what's going to make you go so far is your family. His family, at the time when he was publishing, he had his sisters, you know, his brother-in-laws, and they all took different routes. He goes, you don't party, you keep yourself toned down, and you're about business and about. I said, yeah, because it's my business at the same time, it's my lifestyle. But, you know, I had to put my lifestyle aside because I couldn't, you know, I'm spending 30, 40 grand into an issue. When that's a car. I'm like, fuck, it's a car. That's my car, you know.
I can't even imagine that.
No, yeah. So I did a lot of that. So then, you know, but yeah, no, he was, like I said, being humble too. I mean, I've always been humble. I've never put myself out there like, you know, this is me. Look at me. I'm out here. Hey guys, or you know, push myself into that light because I rather work hard and give you something that later on you're going to look at. Mm-hmm. Like yourself, what you're doing right now. Yeah. You know, you're really studying what's going on, you know, and there's few people that do that. I was one of them. Mm-hmm. I studied, I made sure who was who, what was what. I dug deep in. I wanted to meet people because knowing them, meeting them, hanging out with them, to me is a lesson in life that, you know, is going to take with me forever. Right. When Sonny passed away, his son called me up to help him put the whole the funeral together, or his last ride. I carried his ashes in my Suburban. I have a 1940 Suburban. I was able to carry his ashes in my car with his family. You know, to me that was an honor. You know, he didn't even want nobody from Lowrider magazine. He didn't want nothing to do with Lowrider magazine because that's how deep he felt that he was taken advantage of. They wrote a story about him. He gave them a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff, he goes, they changed. That's what pissed him off. And they had him in a hotel in L.A. I go, wow. I would have had you in my house because he spent it at my house a couple times. Yeah. I would have had you in my house, talking, kicking it, chilling. You know, he liked to drink, so, you know, just chill, kicking it with him, listen to stories. And it was like, it was tough that he went through that. And like I said, a lot of people know about it. And I was always telling them, I go, you know what? There's a movie needs to be written about you, an actual movie. Mm-hmm. And he used to call himself the Urban Charro. That's what he was. Okay. You know, so I never heard. I mean, the story should be called Urban Charro, or the life of a real lowrider. You know. Yeah. And there's another guy that really knew him a lot. It was Jim from Time Warp. Oh yeah. Yeah, I just interviewed him. You interviewed him. Yeah. So Jim knew him a lot, and he went to Jim. Like that picture right there with a car in the back, you see that picture? Sonny gave me that. Sonny used to sell those posters. Yeah, he used to sell those posters. He sold those posters at events and stuff. And then he sold his front covers. And it's kind of, which I got a lot of his stuff. And the magazine, like I said, the magazine is just like it's a brochure of what we do. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what it becomes, a brochure of the stuff you do. But that's when a lot of it got lost. And that's when we came in. And even though we stood small, but we stood true to what we did. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what made us last so long, being true to what you did. But the 90s, God, man, because mini trucking, I'm going to tell you, the mini trucking came in like in 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92. By 93, 94, it was changing. More Impalas were coming in, older cars, but still, the fading of mini trucks was that era. They just started fading away. And now, it was like, lowriding was trying to identify itself with something new. Because if you look at every generation, the beginning of the generation of lowriding was anything you had, from old to new. Because back then it was new. So what would you define as like the origin then point of lowriding, getting into like this generational thing? Because I have my own
perspective?
It has a lot to do with the car industry.
Yeah.
What cars are being built? You know, what's going to trigger you? Is it fast, low, slow, high, low? I mean, it's the generation of the car builders, right? Because during the mini truck era, the car companies, General Motor, Nissan, you could go buy a car lowered. Well, you couldn't do that in the 70s.
Oh, from the factory?
Yeah, you couldn't go, I want that 77 Monte Carlo with hydraulics, or I want it lowered with some spokes on it. You couldn't do that. Right. But you go to, in 88, 89, 90, you could go to Mazda. I want that truck with inky slam with a snug top, tinted windows. Boom, you got it. Coming straight out of the factory. Damn. And you couldn't do that back then. Back then, you'd buy a car, bring it out, I'm lifting it. Because I have friends that I remember one of my boys, he bought a glass house in '76, buying them right out of the showroom, taking them straight to a hydraulic shop, getting them lifted, and putting spokes on them. I mean, that's, you know, right now if you go and get a brand new Lincoln or a Cadillac, bring it out, lift it. People now, that's not a lowrider. That's not a lowrider. Lowrider is traditional. But there's no such word as that. I see how they try to categorize it, but that becomes like it's a car show thing. It's a judging thing. They want to categorize stuff, you know, where in reality, lifestyle, anything. Like I spoke to you know, like I said, I spoke to Sonny on a lot of different occasions. One of them was when the big trucks started coming out. So the 90s was the big trucks, big wheels, right? There was like 96, 97, you know, that's when everybody had the big wheels. And then the truck started getting lowered with big wheels. And then the tucking became like in the 2000s, right? So I told Sonny, I go, hey, Sonny, we're looking at a truck. Beautiful fucking truck. This thing was purple with graphics on it. 30-inch wheels, I think, or 40, I don't know what the hell they were. But it was laid on the ground, tucked up. And I asked him, I go, hey, Sonny, what would you consider that in the 70s? Like if that came out in the 70s and it's airbagged, right? You know, it's a lowrider. I go, you sure? Because people say with bags, it's not a lowrider. He goes, no, it's a lowrider. He goes, if we knew about bags back then, that probably would have been the first lowrider on bags. To us, a lowrider was anything that was low. So we would, cut the springs, lower it, that's a lowrider. Whether you're putting bags of cement on the back, that's a lowrider. Anything that was lowered to us was a lowrider. So that truck is a lowrider because it's low on the ground. Anything low on the ground is a lowrider, whether it's a Euro or anything. They could name whatever they want to name it, categorize it the way they want to categorize it. That now becomes a car show industry car. This is a lifestyle car. That's what I consider a lowrider. So that's what kind of stuck in my head too, because I would talk to the guys in LA, and they're like, oh no, lowrider, you gotta have 13s on it. It has to be a traditional. It has to be an Impala or a Bomb, or it has to be, but it's not. You know, again, you go back to. It's the person, whatever you lowered, you know. Traditional lowrider is a person, I guess, that has the tradition in the blood, man. That's what I call a traditional lowrider. I see that guy every time, driving every car lowered all the time. I mean, that's traditional to me. He has that traditional blood in him. But I think the whole, all those words that are coming out has a lot to do with categorizing them for car show trophies and stuff like that, which is cool. It's something that, you know, I guess we have to accept now, you know, and kind of like, okay, traditional lowrider, okay, it's an Impala or it's a Regal on some traditional wheels with traditional hydraulics. Oh, bags, oh, no, it's not a lowrider no more. It's another car, you know, but at the same time, it goes up and down. It's a lowrider to me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I might be wrong. That's where the hate comes in. I guess people hate.
Well, so you heard it straight from Sonny, so
yeah.
I think the last question I have is that you've been in this industry for, you know, well over 25 years, just in the magazine alone.
Right.
You've been in media.
Right.
So what to you is kind of like the future of low riding then? Where do you see it going, right? Because you've seen these trends come and go. You've seen it. You're obviously recording it in the magazine.
Well, yeah, like right now, I don't see it going anywhere. Now it's just gotten stronger, and it's like anything. When you put a value on something, it doesn't die no more. You see, I want to say 70s, 80s, in the 80s, mid 80s, it lost value because back then, like in the 80, 88, you could buy an Impala for $2,500, lifted, candy paint, you know. Back then, you were putting money into a car. You buy an Impala for, let's say, $800, and you dump $8,000 into it. You're gonna sell it for $4,500. You're gonna get no more money. You're always losing. I used to tell my guy, I go, man, we're always losing money when you fix a car. He goes, that's just the way it is. It just, you know, you're selling somebody else's your like to somebody else. Mm-hmm. And back then, like, I don't want that car. I'm gonna go buy me an $800 car and fix it the way I want to. I don't want to buy your thoughts and your likes, you know. So the way I look at it, because there's a value on it now, like anything else, it's not going to lose anymore because now the cars are worth $30,000, $40,000. When they started after the pandemic, during the pandemic, these cars went from buckets, $25 buckets went to $18,000, yeah. And then your $10,000 car turned out to be $35,000, $40,000. Yeah, it's not going to lose anymore. It's became a collector's. So now it's the industry and the world has accepted these cars as value. They're valuable now. So it's our values out there. It's gold. These cars are gold. They're not going to be made again. That's it. They're made once and that's it. Now, it's your artwork and it's your lifestyle in these cars, whether you fix them normal, I don't want to say normal, original or custom, they're not going to lose value no more. That's it. And that's the way I look at lowriding now. Now it's just going up. And that's why people are trying to reuse names. They're trying to reuse like the name Super Show. Mm-hmm. If you look at it, every show is a Super Show. You know what I'm saying? They've made that name generic because to me that's why I don't even call any of my shows Super Shows. Mm-hmm. Just come to my show and just have fun. But lowriding, I'll see it not dying, which I do say. Sonny told me one time. He's all, there's going to be a death of car shows.
Mm. What do you mean by that?
And that's what I asked him, I go, what do you mean by death of car shows? He's all, because everybody's doing a car show. And the crazy thing is that people, he goes, we're like cattle. You know what I'm saying? Like when you listen, oh, this is good, everybody wants it. Or this ice cream is hella good, you got to go, everybody's going to go to that ice cream guy, even though this other ice cream guy has good ice cream, everybody's going to go to the one that everybody's talking about. We're like cattle. So then you go to this one, and their ice cream is bad. And you're like, oh, hell no, I don't like ice cream no more. Then you start killing the taste that people don't really like that ice cream. Well, the car shows are almost the same. Like you go to a car show, they call it a super show. You go to it, and you're like, whoa, they got no entertainment. The cars aren't all that. It's not even, this is a super show? Mm. So the next time you hear a super show, what are you going to think? Yeah. Same shit. Or a car show, lowrider car show. Oh, I'm not going to that show no more. I'm not going to that show no more. Lowrider shows, I'm not going because they suck. That one sucked. And because of that, people, you know, there's so many going on that they're like, okay. And he said the ones that were going to cause it were the car clubs, believe it or not. That's what he told me. Because car clubs, they do these shows, which is cool. And he kept going, well, they should just do their picnics and gatherings and gather the cars. Mm-hmm. And try to create these car shows that they're not going to put the money behind it to create an actual car show. Mm-hmm. And the promoters that do put big money behind them, they say they do a big show, they put big money behind, they put big entertainment, but nobody's going to it because the guy that went to this other little show over here, their mind is like, nah, you know what? I'm not going to these shows. They're just not what they were anymore. They're just, I'd rather not go to it. So he said they're going to kill the car show scene, which he at that time said it's dying. Because we've gone to shows, and I've taken them with me, and a lot of shows were dead. Like you go there, they have 200-300 cars, but no people. Mm. Like, why? What's going on? It's just, you know, when you do a car show, you should define car show. You know, yeah. Really. You know, gathering, he goes, I'd rather call it a happening or a gathering. It sounds a lot better. But a car show to me is you're bringing up an event that's going to be spectacular, especially a super show. Like, you know.
Did he ever talk about that first 78 show that he did at the fairgrounds, the first international lowrider car show? It was the year before the Super Show in L.A., the first Super Show. In 79.
You know, I never really talked to him about this one here. The one in L.A. I did talk to him. The one in L.A. he said was huge. They interviewed him. They did all kinds of stuff with him. Yeah, no, he never really told me about it. He just told me that they did it because he wanted to do it big out here because it was, to him, like I said, it was a capital of lowriding for him, and he wanted to always organize it perfect and right. But at the same time, he had challenges with different promoters out here, which I don't want to speak their names, but it was always a challenge with everybody, he says, And I mean, it's tough, when you're out there, you're pushing, you're young, and you're doing things, shit gets to you. Mm-hmm. It really does. Especially being young, it's going to get to you. When you're my age already, or the age he was, you don't care no more. You're like just laughing. Go ahead and go do it. You want to do this on my show, or you want to do that to this. You really want to challenge this? Go ahead. I'm not here to entertain you, and I'm not here to challenge you. I'm here to beat what I'm doing. I need to do it better than I did last year. That's it. I'm here to entertain the people. Yeah, I'm my own. I'm here to entertain the people that I'm here to entertain, not the people that were trying to do bad for me. But yeah, no, that's what I said. He was telling me that there was going to be a death of lowrider shows and stuff, but which that I kind of like, nah, it'll still be around, man, because people are going to want them. As far as fighting and who's better than what, I don't know. You've probably been hearing what's going on in L.A. That you got two identities out there trying to run to be that they're the originals and all, but none of them are. The originals are way gone. As far as publication, I even tell like my guys, to pump my guys up. We're the oldest publication out now. We're the only oldest publication out. Yeah. In order for anybody to catch up to us, they need 20 years. Because there's publications out there, which they're good friends of mine, and I tip my hats out to them. Anything they need as help, I'm down to help them out. There's one magazine that actually, when they first started, they used to sell for me. They used to sell magazines for me, and then they came around and they have asked me for kind of like permission. I ain't permission, but they're like, we're coming with an idea that we're putting something together. It's going to be different. It's all about show cars. And I said, all right, that's cool. But to this day, they're real good friends of mine. One of them passed away, but to me, that was like, wow, out of respect, that was cool. Mm-hmm. And to this day, we're cool friends, and I'll do anything for those guys, because it's not just about one publication; it's about multiple of us. Right. The more publications we are, it's because the industry is doing good and it's supporting everybody. Mm-hmm. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, it's about me, it's about Streelow. If you ain't Streelow, you ain't shit, or nah, man. I mean, I'll support other events as well. I'm down to support events. I'm down to support magazines. I'm down to support whoever is out there. Mm-hmm. But as far as, like I said, as far as how this industry is going, it's hard to say. Sonny wasn't around really to really see the social media go this hard. Because right now it's pretty hard. Yeah. You got YouTube. You got Instagram. You got everything, Facebook, that is now documenting a lot of this.
Everybody's a media.
Everybody. But the only thing that I think that they're losing is that all this could disappear in a flash of a light. Just gone. Internet turns off. What's going to happen? What would happen? Yeah. Can you imagine if Instagram, YouTube, they just said, boom, shut it off. Today, shut it off. Yeah. I hope everybody got to everybody's phone numbers, because that's just the way.
Magazines again, man.
Right. But can you imagine? So to me, a magazine right now is like a trophy. It's like it's kind of like I made the magazine. I'm published for life. Yeah. I mean, I made the Instagram. I'm published on Instagram for life. Like, to me, it's just I don't think there's no high honor in that. I mean, to me, but I might be wrong. I might be Gilbert's a hater. No, but to me, it's just if you're publishing a car, you're putting them out there, they're worth the pages of a magazine. They're worth your time, your work, your money to actually highlight them, and it's something that's published for life. You can go to a paint shop or a paint place or a mechanic place, show them. Oh, look, you can show them on your phone, but this guy can get this picture, cut it out, and put it next to the car and say, that's how I want to build this car. Whereas what are you gonna do? Get a laptop, put a laptop there, or get a, it's just, or you have to print it out too, right? But I mean, there's just so much different. That's why I'm like, what Sonny had told me about that, about the death of this, death of that. I mean, it could be true, but right now I don't think it's going anywhere. I think lowriding is going to continue growing and growing. There's always going to be a new captain for a driver's seat all the time, But yet, I think like what you're doing right now is a good thing, man. It's a good thing because you are documenting something that somebody else is going to want to see.
Right.
Something that like I might not be here tomorrow, but at least you got me already. Same with Sonny. I was able to get a lot of stuff of his, and I learned a lot from him. And even when I spoke to his son, I told him things about him, and he was like, "Oh shit, yeah, I never knew that." Like the dollar, like the logo. The Lowrider logo. You know what that came from, right?
So I interviewed the guy that refined the logo, but there's another story.
Yeah, so the refining is not the creation of it. So to me, I give props to the guy that refined it from LA. I guess the guy was from LA, right?
From San Jose.
San Jose. Okay, so there's another guy in LA that says he refined it. Okay. So the guy that actually did it is from San Francisco. Okay. That actually did the logo, but it wasn't a logo. It was a if you look at it, I got to pull out the magazine so I can show you at the same time. So this, what Sonny told me about this logo, I was like tripping out, man. I was like, what? He goes, yeah, man. He goes, if you look at it, it wasn't supposed to be, and I'm going to go to the issue number 2. He's also, when I first came out with the first magazine, it had nothing on it, right? And they're like, hey, you need to put $1 on it. The stores are like, dude, you need to put $1 on it. You got to put a price on it because we're not going to be selling your magazine without a price on it. Get Sonny to want nothing on the goddamn cover. It's okay, fuck it. So they came out with that.
Right, one bola.
So they did that to cover up the dog. His mind was always artistic. He was always an artistic person. Sonny was always about making it look good. So the guy that did it is a guy from San Francisco.
Oh, really?
Out of San Francisco. And when he did that, he goes, we have to cover the $1. How are we going to do it? And the guy came out with that. So that is the original concept right there. And then I guess the guy that refined it, so they claim, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's your research to do that. I mean, so they said this now came from I guess a guy from here, you said?
So what he told me is that he was Sonny Madrid's wife's cousin. And so he was like a lot younger. I think he was coming out of high school. And they brought him in. His name is Joe Hernandez. Okay. And so he's credited on, I think, one of the calendars. You probably have it, but
right.
As one of the artists, along with Teen Angel and David Gonzalez, as part of being on staff.
Okay, yeah.
And so he saw it and he was like, all right, I'm going to tweak this. And then he made the, I think it was issue 5, where Lowrider is like in the Old English with it shaded. So that version. Right. He also created that one. Yeah. That one, refined it.
Yeah, so I think this is.
And I think it was, after that he left, and then he got refined even more.
Yeah, so I guess the guy that refined the Lowrider logo was from Los Angeles. Yeah. Some guys out there trying to like, I'm the first one that did. But I mean, because if you look
that's probably true, because Joe is like, he's like, I don't know when it changed after that. To the arch type style.
I mean, that's the first Lowrider. That's the first. Mm-hmm. The second one's that one.
Right.
Then the third one is this one. Yeah. And then from there it kept changing, Yeah. But yeah, no, that was crazy to me, because ours didn't change for a long time.
Yeah, I mean it still looks very similar.
Ours was that, and then we added the serpents to the side. Mm-hmm. But the serpents came because a guy from prison drew Streelow with serpents on it, and I said, "This is fucking dope." And it wasn't until like a couple of years back that I said, you know what? When distribution went under, because it went under pretty quick, man. They just, from one day to another, it was just fucking no more distribution. I lost all my 7-Elevens. It was just crazy. And when I went to go talk to the distributor, he was like, bro, he goes, you guys are a lifestyle. You guys are a cult. He goes, you have a cult following. He goes, so don't stop. You got to keep doing what you do. Make clothing, make this, make that. So when we put the serpents on there, I said, well, you know what? I'm just going to take magazine out completely. I'm going to put lifestyle. That's it.
Oh, okay.
So people are like, oh, man, put the magazine back on. But then the distributor goes, well, Gilbert, he goes, you are a magazine. I don't know why you put magazine underneath your logo. You can do that when you're doing like head letters and stuff for other people, but your actual magazine should just say Streelow. So then I was like, well, but I needed something underneath. So I go, well, you know what, Streelow Lifestyle. And that's how I started pushing it, Streelow Lifestyle. But that's the only time it changed with the serpents, and that's it. And we kept it the same. And then the color too, the color concept, so it's red, white, and then green. Like over there it says Arte. You know, we had it in the magazine as well. We had the red, white, and green. With the green, white, and red for the Mexican flag. So we did that for it. Our first issue, they fucked up. The idiots at the print shop put blue, white, and green. And then Premiere is spelled wrong. We don't need an E at the end. Premiere is without, that's Premiere, I don't know what the issue. So there was a lot of things that went wrong when we were putting the whole first issue to the second issue.
Oh man, I never noticed that.
Yeah, Premiere's wrong, man. It's crazy, you know? We were trying to make the name big. We want to make sure everybody knew who we were, and we just kept pushing the whole thing. And then we started getting invited to movies. La Mission was one of them. We did a couple other movies here and there, but we're just like sitcoms where they just use the magazine here and there. We came out with the movie Lowrider. If you look at the last issue, last segment, the last frame of the movie Lowrider, they show our magazine.
Okay.
It shows Lowrider, like it's like the guy was trying to make it to Lowrider, to make it to a Lowrider magazine, and they picked us. It was kind of cool. And it was through a friend of mine that knew the production company. They're like, oh no, you got to use them. Same with La Mission. La Mission, when I met Benjamin Bratton, they're like, my boy calls me up from Frisco, like, hey, you got to come. Like, what are you talking about? He goes, we're making a movie, and your magazine's going to be all over it, and you need to come. Can you come right now? I go, well, give me about an hour. I'll be over there. He goes, okay, cool. Bring all the magazines with you. I rolled up in there. I had my Streelow jacket on, everything. I rolled in there. They were in Pier 38. The production company was in there. Walk in there, and my boy goes, you see? Oh, this is real low riding, bro. You have to call them bastards over there, one number to another number to another number, and then you sign these papers. You got the guy right here. This is the guy that publishes it. I went in there, gave them the magazines. They fucking loved it. Boom, we became part of the movie. Yeah, we became part of the movie.
So on that cover of the first issue,
yeah,
that's isn't that a Fresno car? Where's that car from?
That car
taken in San Jose?
That car was taken in Kenyatta College up on the mountain in Redwood City. That car's from Redwood City. Okay. It's called Wicked 63. That car's been around since the 70s.
Yeah, I've seen other photos of that car before.
So there was pictures that we put of his that it was Raul Baldonado that owns it. I've been trying to buy it from him. He won't sell it to me. You know, now probably fucking Ralston or more, but he has pictures of it. And so when you travel to Mexico, they used to put stickers as a tourist right on the side of they were like the window ones, like the ones that go from the inside of the window with water and shit. He had one on there. It had the seal of Mexico on it. It said tourist car, blah, blah, blah. And he has pictures of it backed up into a river with the ass up and then jumping into the water. Using it as a diving board, man. Imagine that shit was crazy. And they drove that car like that. They called it El Diablo when he was over there. Even though the name of it's called Wicked 63, but they said it was the devil's car because it would go up and down, and they were like tripping out on it. This is the 70s. Yeah. So they're good friends of mine. So we started the magazine. We're like, man, we need something that's been around for a long time. I think this would be kind of cool. So we asked him, and he was like, let's do it. And yeah, he did it. And he was one of our first advertisers as well. And then if you look at Streetwise publication, that's kind of like what I was calling because I had at my time when I was learning all this, I go, okay, well, I need to call it something because maybe we want to create other magazines and put them underneath us. So I called it Streetwise Publication. And on that public thing, it tells you we're looking for photographers, writers. We used to go cruising up and down Santa Clara, dropping them off to people, looking for models. And man, we used to do interviews of girls coming, party girls, 3, 4, 5, drunk at night, at Saturday night, because we were open Friday till Sunday, Monday to Sunday. So we had people coming in. Just if the walls could talk in the office, it was just chaos sometimes. And if my wife was like, are you going to come home? I'd come home late. But man, it it was just insane, man. It was insane. It was quite an experience in the beginning. And if you look at Streelow, that's the way I was gonna write it. You see the one on top, Streelow, and then magazine. So we went through a lot of changes before we actually released the first one. The Streelow, the way we did it, I'm gonna tell you, Malo did it. Tyrone Diaz. He's the one that did it with the concept of the Lowrider Arte. If you look at any of the Lowrider Arte, they have connected their E's, and so he liked that concept. He's like, "What do you think?" And he showed it to me. I go, "But I wanted to look like a plaque." That was my concept as well. I wanted it to look like a plaque. I didn't want it to look like just your ordinary writing. I wanted it to look like a plaque. Excuse me. So he did that, and I go, that shit looks like a plaque. Hell yeah, it does. And then we went from there, and now we actually do have plaques. We have a car plaque, a couple of them. They're at my house, but yeah, that was the concept of it all. To make it look like a plaque. And I go, put some swirls in it. Because at first it was just plain. I go, I gotta put something like that, just swirls, just make it kind of artistic. You gotta get that twist in it. And he did. I mean, and he's been with me since day one.
Yeah, man. He's cool. He hits me up all the time.
Yeah, he's the only one that's been with me. And, he calls me brother. We're like brothers. We get mad at each other, whatever, but we're always on the same page. Never turned his back on me. Very, very loyal. And that to me means the world, I do things for him that, and he does vice versa, And then from there we started with the art books, with the art book 1, art book 2. We have art book 3, we just haven't released it, which I will release one of these days. And after that we just, there's different people that inspired me, like Mike Pickle, the way he drew and stuff, even though he's with other magazines and stuff. I used to talk to him a lot back in the day. The Chicano movement, they came, dropped that off, signed it, gave it to me. La Misión. If you look at that issue right there with the Charlie Brown, we're the first ones to ever do that. We're the very first ones to ever do that. That was my Charlie Brown. I was wearing it. And we were doing a photo shoot with her. She's out of Texas. We're doing a shoot with her. She was in a bikini. And like, this doesn't look right. We're shooting an old school bomb. We're in LA. I said, wait a minute. I took off my shirt. I said, hey, put this on. She was in a bikini. She puts it on. I go, we got to do something to tie it up. Because if you look at the sleeves, those are my sleeves. Those are regular sleeves to me. It went all the way down. So with one of those hair things, we put two of them in the back and held it like that. He goes, oh, I got a brim. I just bought it from Greenspan. She went and grabbed the brim, put it on. And the rest is history, man. After that, all the girls started dressing like that in LA. I swear to God. I even tell her, I go, we started it, but look at this. This is what you created that. And people can sit there and say, oh, no, we've been doing this forever. Nah, not that. Skirt looking, now girls we're wearing them as skirts. Now you got that one company that does them now. Mm-hmm. They're actually dresses now, and they're doing little tops. But the concept was that was the concept that blew it up. I know it is. I mean, that was way back before they started doing that shit. Even the Pendleton movement. Yeah, the Pendleton movement wasn't here. Mm-hmm. Wasn't here at all. I started wearing Pendletons. I have over 200 Pendletons, bro. That's why I even got some here. I can't fit them in my house. We were in L.A. I used to go to L.A. a lot for a lot of events. I was in Hawaiian Garden at a show, and this dude was wearing his Pendleton. I go, wow, Pendleton's dope, One of my guys that was with us at the time, he passed away, rest in peace as well, So he was one of our photographers. He's like, Gilbert, he goes, you like those? I go, fuck, they're bad, man. I always see, once in a while, see somebody wearing one of these here. But those colors are bad. Because I used to wear them when I was younger. But I was going to this place in San Mateo called Snyder's. They had them. Never had the right colors. Go to Macy's, never had the right colors. I went to Pendleton. In Palo Alto, ugly colors. I mean, they had all the funky colors. He goes, I'm going to take you somewhere, you're going to trip out. So we went to a place called Greenspan in Southgate. Everybody knows it now. Nobody knew what Greenspan was. I walk in there. I talked to his name was Evan. His name's Evan. I said, hey, he brought me in there. As soon as I walked in, I'm like, holy shit. Fucking Pendletons for days, Dickies, bands. I mean, Wino, they had everything in it, you know? And he had pictures of like Eazy-E walking in there, you know, Dr. Dre, like all these artists would go in there. Movie companies would buy clothes because he had a lot of vintage stuff in there. And I went up to him and go, hey man, you know, would you want to advertise with us? I go, you know, I'll tell you one thing, you know, we will definitely change, you know, people are going to come buy from you. Oh, no, everything's word of mouth, you know. We've been here since the 20s. Everything's word of mouth. Yeah. I said, you don't understand. I go, we have a good following in Northern California as we do in Southern California. But people are even out here probably don't know who you are. Mm-hmm. This is a Southgate thing. And he was like, no. Then like 2-3 days later, he calls me back. I go back. He goes, okay, let's do it. So they start advertising. You know, the rest is history, man. Everybody in Northern California was buying Pendletons, man. And it was crazy to me because we write an article about it. Mm-hmm. Mad. I don't know if you know Mad. He does the oldie things, Mad.
Was it? Yeah.
So he helps me write an article about Pendletons. I go, hey, let's write it because I wanna pick this up, and then I want to show it to. I was talking to Evan. Evan in Greenspan. I was telling him, look, we're gonna write an article, and he was going to Pendleton a lot. Show him this. See if we can get Pendleton to advertise. But they never did. They didn't even give a shit about us. But we wrote a cool article that just created a Pendleton wearing thing from there on, man. And everybody now wears Pendletons. Everybody. And nobody used to wear Pendletons, man. Not for a long time. The Pendletons, I didn't see Pendletons probably in the 70s, and that was it. I didn't see them throughout 80s or the 90s. Or the 2000s, man, till we started really pushing it on and then Hammer and Lewis, I would tell Hammer and Lewis they should actually carry them, you know. And at the time, he was like, no, ain't nobody gonna pay that kind of money for them. I said, they will. They'll pay money for them because they're paying a lot of money on their cars. And boom, so he started carrying them too. And now look at them.
Yeah, that's where I usually get mine.
Yeah, everybody's killing it. And Diaz, too. Diaz didn't have neither. Everybody's carrying them. It became like a thing. And but I mean, if you ever gone to Southgate in LA, oh bro, they have colors that are crazy. Because he actually also he brought back like the Cascades, you know, the Cascades. They were like the Pendleton. Okay. But they were the squarey ones, the ones like kind of like they have Eazy-E wearing one, and different people wearing them, you know. So he got the brown one, the blue one, and the black one, and he copied them. Send the patterns to Pendleton, and Pendleton remade them for him. It's inspired by Cascade by Pendleton, and then it says Greenspan. So Greenspan paid to get those patterns made. So I have one. I have the black one, and I have the brown one. I didn't get the blue one, but I got the black one because he sold out on blue. He fucking sold out. So I was like, oh, just give me the black one and the brown one, and those I have. But that's I mean. I know we've been around for a long time, and I know we've sparked a lot of stuff. Not saying that we invented anything, we just brought it back. We helped kind of modernize it again, you know. And that's what I was telling Evan too, because the way they wore Pendletons was Pendletons, white shirts, Dickies. It wasn't jeans. It was Dickies and Dickies and Pendletons. That was the wear of it. We were wearing jeans, shorts. You know, we didn't. I told them, you know, you have to modernize this Pendleton because Pendletons are badass. It's just a good ass shirt to have, whether you're in the cold or whatever, wherever you're at. And I go, this is California, and so we're trendsetters, man. Believe it or not, right. You know, I don't think we dress like anybody else because we've traveled different places around the United States, and they know exactly where we're from. I went to New Jersey one day, and some negritas are like, you guys are from California. Like, how the hell, you know, your glasses? I'm like, what about my glasses? Oh, those are California glasses. Because I was wearing some Persols, real skinny Persols. And they're like, like, yeah, we don't have that stuff, that style. Your style is different. Look, and I was wearing Dickies, and I was wearing Winos at the time. Okay. And he's like, look, those everything. We don't sell that over here. I was like, what? So they knew exactly where we were from. And that's why I say, like, California, I mean, you could use and wear however anything. You can put a pair of Winos with shorts and different shirt, and just you can mix it up, and we don't care really. You know, there's not a dress code. It's just the way we like to dress at times, you know. But I don't know. It's a trip. It's a trip, you know.
Man, you got any closing remarks for wrap it up here? But I mean, I appreciate.
Yeah. Awesome. No, just, you know, I mean, if you're a new generation, man, keep it up, keep going, man. You know, if you want to be publishers, I mean, learn to do something else before you actually start publishing, because publishing is not easy. It's more of a passion than it is. If you're trying to get rich, do something else. It's not going to get you rich. Trust me. If you have passion for lowriding, yes. If you're passionate for photography, keep doing what you're doing too, man. If Instagram's the thing they're into to show their work, which is it's the way to do it now, do it. You know, just keep pushing what you're doing. Publishing isn't everything, really, right? I mean, it's a lot, but it's not. How can I say it? It ain't gonna be the only thing you can do to survive in life, man. But it's a memory you're gonna leave behind for other people to see. And but yeah, just keep doing what you guys are doing. Don't let it die. That's for sure, man. You know, and don't be haters neither. That's what I think, man. Just stop being haters. Appreciate other people's work. If people talk about one person, good. Let them talk about them. You know, because I've seen that battle out on photography and videography for years, even before Instagram and all that, and YouTube. People have always had this hatred toward each other because everybody wants to be the best of the best. But you have to understand, you will bounce ideas off each other, and whether you become the best or you're not, I mean, you know, maybe you're going to get lucky and one day you get picked up by the NBA, NFL to shoot for them or video them, you know, where you get that big money, big paycheck, or you create your own channel and you know, get the views you need and start interviewing bigger people maybe or other identities. Or if you're a photographer, if you're shooting just lowriders, that's cool, but there's other things you could shoot too, you know, that will make you, you know, if that's your passion. Your passion is photography, is cool. If your passion is lowriding, then just keep doing it, man. But you got to have a passion for it. You know, you can't just, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get rich. No, it's not going to happen. Or I'm going to do this to pick up girls. That's another one, you know, because I see people create books to get girls. I mean, that's cool. I mean, that's their thing. But remember, you're wasting your time, and time is valuable. Time is all we have. You know, that's number one thing. And like they say, when you're young, you got a lot of it, right? But as you get older, you're racing time. What am I gonna do? I need to travel. I need to do. So that's my closing with everybody is don't waste your time. Really, don't waste your time. If you got passion for it, do it. If you don't have a passion for it, you know, don't do it. Just, you know, be part of it. Don't hate. Appreciate everybody, you know.